More than half of the population of the planet lives in cities, and not all of them have the appearance of us. Today I will show you such cities, in the existence of which it is difficult to believe. And we will begin from a city on the edge of the Atlantic Ocean. Here, not far from Lagos, there was once a tiny fishing village. And now, this is part of the Lagos, although it is actually a separate city erected on embankments from pressed garbage. At home, they stand on stilts right above the water. One of the most unusual places in the world, overwhelming poverty, is the largest slums in the world built on the water. This place is called Black Venice. The picture is as if from a post-apocalypse. No one knows exactly how many inhabitants are here. Someone says hundreds of thousands. Others believe that much more. The official census showed the amount of 250,000 people, but many are sure that these figures were underestimated. For people who first encountered this place, the question involuntarily arises, how do the local residents manage to survive? After all, there's nowhere to grow food, there are no trees, there's nowhere to collect brushwood. Life is really very difficult. These people survive in almost unsuitable conditions for this. The birth rate here is very high. One man can have 3 or 4 wives, from each 5 to 7 children each. The country is very rich in natural resources, but it is more profitable to sell these resources abroad. There they pay more for them than local ones. The poor population almost does not receive access to these wealth. So Lagos arose, the capital of Nigeria. This is one of the most rapidly growing megacities in the world. In terms of slum size, he also takes leading places. These slums have their own name, Makoko, although many call them Black Venice. The minimum number of teachers and policemen per capita makes Nigerian slums a completely unenviable place. There is no need to talk about the level of medical care. Add here terrible unsanitary conditions. Maybe then you will understand why there are very few old people. If you look closely, then there are almost no elderly people in the country. The vast majority of people die at a relatively young age. Many die because of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, others because of malaria, hepatitis, meningitis, typhoid fever, intestinal infections, and so on. All this does not receive proper treatment and leads to the fact that only 5% of the population live in slums under 60 years. Once there was a small fishing village. She supplied the whole Lagos seafood, but now the water near the coast is very contaminated and no longer suitable for fishing. Nevertheless, if you sail away from the city, then you can catch a little fish if you're lucky. And therefore fishing is the main occupation of the inhabitants of water slum. The rest, every day, they float in Lagos to work. A stinking smell emanates from the water. The thick layer of sewage gathers around the piles of hundreds of illegal shacks. According to statistics, in each of the floating houses there are an average of 6 to 10 people. Migrant workers from all over West Africa flows here. Many residents do not even own houses here, but only rent them. The main means of movement for local residents remain wooden boats. Here they are in every family, and children come up with even more interesting vehicles. Boats are also used for fishing and serve as outlets where women sell food, water, and home products. There are even floating schools built from plastic barrels. Sometimes they are destroyed by storms, and children of some areas are left without the opportunity to learn for several years. Some parents can afford to send children to neighboring areas to other crowded schools. The government does not provide free water to the residents of Makoko. The only way to get drinking water is to buy it from sellers who get it from the wells. All waste and sewage are produced directly into the ocean, and then in the same water the children splash. Nevertheless, even in such a place, people are trying to somehow have fun. In houses where there's electricity, you can find an LCD TV and even a new generation console. PlayStation 2 inches any case. For them, this is new. There are hairdressers and even small cafes. And these slums have one big plus, a rather low crime compared to the rest of Lagos. Also, there is no utility bill because they simply are not there. Many times, the authorities of Nigeria tried to demolish these slums, motivating this by the environmental threat that they create. But in return, The government did not offer residents housing on land, and therefore, when demolition began, the residents rebelled and the authorities retreated. Terrible unemployment leads to the fact that even children here from an early age are accustomed to heavy work. Almost a third of Nigerians are not trained in literacy. Only some lucky people have enough to accumulate money for a ticket to Europe one way, where working at the lowest paid work, they will earn many times more than at home. A 10-kilometer bridge gives this place to spectacularity to this place. Against its background, modern buildings in the distance create a truly surreal picture.